Hey, it's really nice to meet you finally. How's the nerves? You've got a big game.
Yeah, well, it's more of an exciting game. Playing against New Zealand, so it's going to be a bit of a tough one. And to be playing them on home soil, I think there's a lot of meaning in this game for both teams and a lot of the players as well. We have a lot of boys in the Australian team who were born in New Zealand, so I'm sure that this game will have extra meaning to each and every one of us.
Is it strange? Because you're a Māori boy. Is it strange playing for the Wallabies against the All Blacks?
In this day and age, not so much. But I think a few years back it would have been. And for the length that I've lived in Australia, I've been there over 10 years now. So I'm very accustomed to life in Australia, and but also I know my roots as well. So there is a bit of to and fro at some stage, and especially in the households. But I enjoy playing for Australia.
When you watch the Haka, what's that like? What's that feeling? Do you want to break out and do your own Haka, or want to reply because you can?
Yeah, well, I guess sometimes you feel like it because the amount of emotion and passion behind the Haka, standing in front of it, it's a little bit different when you're standing in front of it, whereas when you're standing amongst it. So you do get a bit of mixed emotions because you just feel that fire and passion build up, and I think I just try and feed off that. But yeah, it would be a bit of a different look if I was to do it back to the All Blacks.
Might consider it.
Yeah, well.
Well, you've got enough New Zealanders in the Australian team; they could support you, couldn't they?
Yeah, well, I hope so. You've planted a seed now.
When you go onto the field against the All Blacks, the crowd are going to boo you. How have you been coping with that?
I personally take it as a compliment. If they're that worried about me personally, that they have to go to that level of booing you and stuff like that, then I'll take that as a compliment. And that's the way I look at life. Is take the positives out of every situation that you have on your hands. And I'm in a very privileged situation as playing for the Wallabies in the semi-final of a Rugby World Cup. There's not many other people that can say that they've played in a World Cup, let alone a semi-final. I enjoy every moment, and I look for the positives in things. And when someone's booing you, then they're worrying about you. So that's how I look at it.
Do you think you owe Richie McCaw or the New Zealand public an apology?
No, not at all. Like I feel that every time I go out in the field, I'm going to play as hard as I can. I'm going to do whatever I can to be the best player that I can be for my team. When I feel that every time I've played in the goal jump, I've given 110%. Whether it be against the All Blacks, whoever, South Africa, or any other team. So I'm not going to apologise for anything.
Piri Wepu, what do you think of him and Aaron Cruden? They're Māori players as well.
Yeah, well, Piri's a class act. He's been around for a while now, and Cruden's only just coming through. So, but he's a very talented young man who's been through a lot throughout his life. So it's great to see him doing well, and there's another story there. The things that he's been through, the tests that he's had to face up to, are things that I couldn't even imagine. So it's just a credit to him for having such a strong will to firstly get over the health issues that he had, and then now being out there for the All Blacks. There's a lot of people out there who obviously supporting him and the All Blacks.
So you'll be targeting him though, no doubt, being opposite.
Yeah, well, we're playing opposite each other, so I won't be out there to do him any favours, and likewise he won't be out there to do me any favours. But that's the way that the game goes. There has to be a winner, there has to be a loser, and I'm just going to do the best that I can to come out on the winning side, hopefully.
Born in Auckland and then moved to Tokoroa.
Once my mum and dad split ways, mum moved to Tokoroa and took me and my sister with her. So it was a great upbringing. There's a lot of things that my mum went through by herself, and so I'm very proud of her for for bringing me and my sister up and by herself, and then the rest of my family with my dad, David.
But your little brother, especially Ruben, he's a fan of the All Blacks. How does that play out with the two of you?
But I just support him and whatever he likes to do. You know, like I'm not going to stand over him and tell him he has to support any other team. Because it's just that passion that he has for rugby that I'm really excited about. You know, he loves the game so much, and it reminds me of myself when I was a young kid. You know, just how much passion for rugby I had, and I still do. But just seeing it coming out through him, it really excites me. And every time I go watch him play, he's a bit of a freak as well. So it's good to see such passion in a young kid. But he's supporting the All Blacks. So, but I've got backup with my other little brother Moses. He supports the Wallabies.
But they love you, and they think you're the best rugby player.
Yeah, they do. It's good to have support like that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Some people think you're the best, so it's good. My two little brothers, they love rugby. They love watching me play, and just as much as I love watching them play as well. So hopefully they can follow in my footsteps, and if they want it enough, I'm sure that they'll make it.
Did you think when you were growing up in Tukuroa that you would get to the Rugby World Cup?
Well, I think as a kid in Tukuroa growing up, I always had that dream, and it's not letting anybody squash those dreams, and that's what can hold some people back, is that getting outside of your comfort zone, and that being afraid to fail, and I think that's what people get most nervous about, being in front of an audience and failing, and I think that being in front of that audience is the first part of it, because once you put yourself in that position, then you start testing yourself. Am I good enough to be here? Should I be here? You just got to keep working harder and harder, and the biggest thing is just, like I said, not letting anyone squash your dreams. And as a young boy in Tukuroa, I never let that happen. No matter how many people said I was too small, I was too slow. Your boots aren't good enough, stuff like that. I never let that. I didn't care if I played in bare feet. It was never going to stop me from getting to where I wanted to be, and that was playing at the top. And now that I'm there, like I said, my goals I've reassessed my goals, and it's about winning trophies and being the best player that I can be. But that's just got to start at not being afraid to fail. And people say, like on the weekend, I didn't have the best game, but like I went out there and gave 100%. I didn't shy away from anything, and that's where I see the success coming.
Was it the All Blacks that you followed then, that you loved and you wanted to be?
Yeah, well, there was the All Blacks and also the Warriors. I remember spending hours out in the backyard, stepping past trees and just making imaginary people, and at that stage when I was a young kid, there was the likes of Gene Nama and the Warriors, guys like that, Sean Hoppy. So like I was just pretending to be them, with Hoppy's speed and stuff like that. I'd pretend I was running down the sideline, and I'd transform into Christian Cullen, and you're sidestepping past the washing line to score a match-winning try or something like that. But just watching guys like that when you're growing up and having that basically that seed in the back of your mind that you want to be like them, you want to achieve what they've achieved, or you want to make it to the top. And I think having that competitiveness, even with yourself, I think that's where it all starts.
You're living your dream now, aren't you? This was the passion, this is the thing that you wanted to do, the Rugby World Cup.
Yeah, this is all I wanted to do. Like I've always looked at the World Cup as a place where I wanted to be, on the biggest stage in the world, in front of all your supporters, all your critics as well. But it's about proving to yourself that's where you belong.
Would you ever play for the New Zealand Māori team?
Yeah, well, it's a hard one to answer, because like I'd love
Would
to.
you like to?
Yeah, well, I'd love to play the game at the highest level for as long as possible, and but if that opportunity arose to play for the Māori, whereas you can still keep your Wallaby jumper, then I definitely wouldn't pass that up. But at the same time, this is my career, and this is my job basically. So you don't want to ever put that in jeopardy, whether it be for form or anything else. You just want to keep playing it at the top, and like I said, that's been my dream my whole life, to play at the top for as long as possible.
Can you just explain your tamako?
Yeah, this was when I was about 18 years old, around the same time that my grandfather passed away, and that's his name tattooed there. And yeah, it was just more about remembering my background, my family, the things that are most important to me, which are my family. And so there's a lot of people who have their opinions about, especially me playing for Australia, and then also having these tattoos on me. So for me, it's just about what it means to me, and no one else can take that away from me. So they're there to stay, and they have a lot of meaning behind them for myself.